Welcome into the Future in Flight podcast, coming to you from a hangar somewhere near the flight line, where the stockings are all hung by the chimney with care and they're rocking around the Christmas tree. I'm your host, Shawn Staerker, and today we're celebrating Christmas with an incredible story about the flight before the night before Christmas. Plus, we take a look back at the amazing year we've had in 2025. So many of you have come aboard over the last 10 months and made this such a great place to be. Not to mention the wonderful guests and great stories we've been able to feature. Like in our very first episode where Vice President of Aviation Design and Supply Mike Salmon talks about the time a group of kids came on a field trip to his shop and experienced the very first spark of aviation magic.
So a couple months ago, I had the absolute honor of bringing those kids that were about the same age as my kids, anywhere from 5 to 13, out to ADS headquarters. And I just did like a simple paper airplane making class, right? I had a couple of different designs out there, and I was teaching kind of the scientific aspect of it, different airfoils and how that stuff works. Because that was part of it. The really cool part was teaching them airplanes that they didn't know that they could make. So, but their eyes just absolutely lit up, and you can see that I could see the spark that a lot of those kids had. That I know that they're going to be coming back, and aviation is going to stay with them.
Sparking the passion for aviation and keeping those fires stoked is a common theme amongst so many of our inspiring guests that we've had on. Here's flight test engineer and creator of Fly Orca, Adriana Barragan, describing a moment she had.
I remember feeling all these butterflies in my stomach, just letting the excitement bubble from all the way up. Being able to explain how something that seemed extraordinary from the outside into something that I could understand, coming down to physics.
Many of our guests have brought immense value with actionable advice for how to get into aviation. Here's owner of Fly Girl Aircraft Detailing, Claire Maher, talking about the importance of networking.
Get involved in as many groups as you can and meet as many people as you can. There are so many groups out there that are there to help you along, that offer scholarships, that offer advice. Get involved in as many of them as you can. Walk into an FBO and introduce yourself to everyone that walks in. If you want to work in aviation business, just message the person whose job you want and ask them for an interview.
We talked with Mary Lamy, Executive VP of Multimodal Enterprises for the St. Louis Freightway and Bi-State Development, about the roadmaps her organization has compiled to help students find high-paying jobs in aviation.
We have one specifically for the aerospace manufacturing, one for aviation, and basically it tells you what the jobs entail, what the earning potentials are, what jobs are posted. So there's a link, you can go directly on that. It includes contacts, it will include videos.
In addition to the great career advice, we've also heard some strong personal development advice from people who have met challenge head on. Brian Kincaid, a bioengineer, pilot, and creator of 60 Alpha on YouTube, has this to say of the importance of perseverance.
Never give up on a dream. I gave up on flying at 17 because I was told I was colorblind and I would never fly Navy jets, and I thought that was the only kind of flying was. And I missed out on some really great flying years. I didn't get my ticket till I was 31.
Speaking of perseverance, here's founder of Aviation Start, Jamail Larkins, talking about his experience with finding flight training funding.
I literally found any company that I could that was involved in aviation, asked them if they would help support my dream, and literally 93 of them said no before I got that very first jet.
93 rejections. Wow. Let's persevere a break really quickly, refill the eggnog, and we'll come back with some more from our past guests in 2025. And we've got an incredible Christmas story about flight testing on the flight before the night before Christmas. Want to upgrade your travel gear for free this holiday season? The 25 Days of Flightsmas is on, featuring 2 amazing grand prizes, a pair of awesome flight sunglasses, and an incredible bull bag travel bag. Visit futureinflight.com/Flightsmas to enter. Really want to win? Get a massive 6-entry bonus by subscribing to both our podcast and Wonder Women of Aviation. And don't forget to share. Referring a co-pilot gives you 5 extra entries every single time. Find the contest link and full details in the show notes. Good luck and Merry Flightsmas to all. Christmas is all about giving, about the desire to use one's own resources to make the lives of others a little happier. Luke Pylypciw, the young founder of aviation consultancy Sky Scholar, used his resources, including a Mooney, to brighten the day of some veterans during his Luke for the Troops fundraiser. Here's Luke talking about that effort.
After I got checked out in the Mooney post-private pilot, I had about a year before I came to flight school in Florida. And so I was kind of just hanging around, flying around and building time. But I eventually got a little bit bored and I wanted to do something that was meaningful. What I ended up doing is partnering with a great nonprofit organization called Hope for the Warriors. They support post-9/11 combat veterans. And I was able to raise $15,000 to put towards that charity and fly a loop around the east coast of the country. I was able to make a trip around, visit some veterans' homes.
Speaking of the military, we've also been able to hear some amazing stories of strength in combat as well.
It was in Iraq when I had launched out a pilot. He came back some 6.5, almost 8 hours later, and just had a melancholy look on his face. And I remember thinking that he had not reported anything wrong with the aircraft, and there was like less than 500 pounds of gas on the airplane, which meant that it was like on fumes. But there was no discrepancies, and I was perplexed and just did my job and got him some water. And about a week later, and he showed me a video, and that video was from his mission on that day. He was circling overhead because there was a convoy that was going from point A to point B, and they were hit by some IEDs. And my pilot chose to stay on station and circle overhead until the coalition forces were able to come and rescue those that needed rescuing. And the realization was that I was the crew chief that did my job according to tech data that allowed that pilot to make that decision to stay on station so long.
It was a pretty nasty castaback, we ended up seeing the best side of combat search and rescue that day, meaning saving 5 guys, and then one Eagle, one American didn't make it back. So, that was that one stays with me forever.
That was a couple of USAF NCOs talking about some memorable moments on the job. First up was Crew Chief Jeremy Myers, followed by Special Missions Combat Aviator Anthony Dyer. Over the last year, we've searched the globe for the best aviation stories, and we've had on guests from Australia to Slovenia. A huge thank you to everyone who sat down with us for an interview. You're all legendary. And thanks to you, the listeners, we've been able to share these stories in almost as many corners of the globe too. 2025 was our first year, and by all accounts, we've been blessed beyond measure. We can't wait to see what 2026 brings. But before we cross the line into the new year, let's talk about the unbelievable experience I had here last night. The night before Christmas. Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the hangar, not a creature was stirring, and I'm over here writing a banger. The headsets were hung by the workbench with care, in the hopes that student pilots soon would be there. The aircraft were nestled all snug in their bays, while visions of crosswinds danced through the haze. And me and my mic from somewhere near the flight line had just settled down to record one more time. When out on the ramp there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my chair to see what was the matter. Away to the hangar door I flew like a flash, pulled open the latch with a metallic clash. The moon shone like arrow leads on the new fallen snow, illuminating every object below. When what to my wondering eyes did appear? A vintage red sleigh and 8 miniature reindeer. With the jolly old pilot so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than citations as valet they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name.
Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen,
he said without stutter.
Now remember, Rudolph, best be sure to add more right rudder.
He was dressed all in red from his head to his foot, with a leather flight jacket all tarnished with soot. A bundle of toys he'd flung on his back, and he looked like a barnstormer opening his pack. His ride stood out like an aerial Coupe de Ville, packages jammed in the back, some from LaVille. He just finished pre-flight on his sleigh, I could tell, checking flight controls and runners, making sure all was well.
I am taking her up for a test flight tonight, need everything right. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve, the busiest night of the year. I'll need something to listen to, something to hear.
I thought for a moment, then I said with a grin, I've got just the thing that'll help you tune in. From a hangar somewhere near the flight line each week, The Future in Flight, that's the podcast you seek. It's hosted by Shawn Staerker, I said with great pride, for youth aged 14 to 24 worldwide, with expert interviews and stories that soar in partnership with Aviation and so many more. On Apple, on Spotify, wherever you stream, it's inspiring the next generation's dream. From pilots to engineers, mechanics to more, it opens up every hangar door. Santa's eyes lit up brighter than landing lights at night.
That is perfect.
He exclaimed with pure delight.
I'll cue it up now for tomorrow's long night. With over 30 episodes, that will surely get me feeling all right.
He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like a supersonic missile. But I heard him exclaim as he climbed out of sight,
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good flight.
From all of us here at the Future in Flight podcast, we wish you a happy holiday season and a very Merry Christmas. We hope your year has been an incredible one full of fun, family, and of course, flying. We'll see you next week as we take a look at what's in store for 2026. Until then, we'll see you out there and up there.